Okay, 4th grade, last video, I promise, or at least for this project, last video. So, before you begin to outline with black marker, make sure you have a separate sheet of paper. Remember, we want that separate sheet of paper so that if we go off our paper, we're making the marks on the paper, not the table. I don't need your parents mad at me. I don't need your grandparents mad at me, your aunts, your uncles, wherever you're doing your work. I don't need them mad at me because you are writing on their table with permanent marker. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start to outline my cow and my background. I'm going to start with the cow first, just because I want to make sure I get that done. Now, I do have my paper underneath this one, just so that if it does bleed through a little bit, it's going onto the other paper. Now, if you are using a permanent marker like mine, you're going to find that you have a fat way to color, and a skinny way to color. I'm going to use the skinny way. So I'm going to go ahead and just trace all of my lines. Trace everything I drew. Now you can color in your eyeballs. For right now, leave your spots. We're not going to color them in. Now, I'm down here at the bottom, so I'm going to move my paper so that when I draw that mark, it goes onto my scratch paper, not onto my table. Last thing I need is to draw it on my table and have my husband get mad at me. Because he would. He would not be happy if I drew on our table. Okay, so there's my cow. Next, I'm going to outline my ground line. Be careful that you stop when you get to your cow and your tree. And just go ahead and outline whatever you have in your background. If you're like me and you have the barn, outline your barn. Outline your tree. Again, make sure your paper is there so that you're not writing on your table. I'm going to kind of improvise a little bit on those. Get your tree trunk. Okay, now for the grass. You want to make sure you're using just the corner. So, real quick. Make it short, fast strokes. You want to make sure you're using just that thin edge. Otherwise, you're going to be making big, fat blades of grass. That's not what we want to do. Okay, so last thing you need to do. Take your eraser, erase away your pencil marks. Then you're going to take a picture of it, insert it in your assignment, and hit the turn in button, and I will look at it on the other end and grade it and then return it to you. Please make sure to read your feedback as always, and then next week we will watercolor paint. See you guys next time.